Hi developers, in this video we will learn about the concept of routing in Express applications. So what is routing? Routing in Express refers to the endpoints or URLs of our applications and specifies how it should respond to the user requests. And a route is defined using methods like get, post, put, delete to specify the HTTP request. So we will see one basic example of how routing works, and we will see get, post and put and delete these methods, okay, one by one. So firstly we need to import the required modules. So first one is we need to import Express module, okay, importing Express module, okay. So how we import? Const express is equals to require, then express, okay. So what is Express? We have learned that it is a framework for building APIs, okay. Express is a framework for building APIs, okay. So we have imported Express. Now we need to import CRUD. Why we need to import CRUD? Because we are going to use online Postman. If we do not use CRUD, then that will give error, CRUD error, okay. So it will allow us to install Postman in our desktop, okay, but we want to use it online, so we need to use CRUD to avoid getting CRUD errors. CRUD, okay. So what is CRUD? It is cross origin resource sharing. Cross origin resource sharing, okay. What it do? It allows requests from other origins, okay. That is, it allows requests from other origins. Okay. Now we need to initialize the Express application, okay. Initialize the Express application, okay. How we initialize? Const app is equals to Express. So what it is? We have created an instance of Express application. Creates an instance of Express application, okay. Now what we need to do? We need to use middleware to enable CRUD, okay. We have imported the CRUD. Now we need to use the middleware to enable CRUD. Middleware enable CRUD, okay. So how we use middleware? We use app.use, okay, CRUD, okay, origin. So what will be the origin? As I just said, like we need to use Postman online, and to avoid the getting the CRUD error, we need to use CRUD. We need to import that in our application, okay. Web.postman. This is the online Postman URL, okay. So what it meant? Only requests from this origin will be allowed. Only requests from this origin will be allowed, okay. So this URL is a exception. We can send the request from this origin, okay. Now what we need to do? So to use the get, post and put methods, we need some dummy data, okay. So here we can hard code it. We can hard code the dummy data. Dummy data. What it will represents? Dummy data representing, say, users in a database. Okay. Instead of storing it in database, we are using dummy data here. So to use the CRUD operations. So what are CRUD operations? CRUD means create, read, update and delete. Okay. So now we will create a users dummy data. Const users is equals to, we will take an array. Okay. Here id1. Each user has an id1, id, name, say Ram. Okay. His email, say ram@gmail.com. Okay. Similarly, we can create other data, similar data. We will change the name. We can say it Sham. We can say it Kapil. Okay. We'll change the IDs. Okay. So this is the dummy data. Now what we need to do? We will use middleware to parse JSON data in request bodies. Okay. We will use middleware to parse JSON data in request bodies. Okay. Because whenever the request is sent, we need to handle that JSON formatted data sent in requests. In request, we will get the JSON formatted data. Okay. So we need to parse that. Okay. Enable. What we need to do? We need to enable the server to understand and handle JSON formatted data. JSON formatted data sent in the requests. Okay. How we do it? How we use the middleware for that? App.use Express.json. Okay. So this is the middleware Express.json to pass the JSON data in the request bodies. Okay. So now we will discuss all the methods one by one. Firstly, we will discuss get route to fetch all the users. So the use of get is to fetching. Okay. So we are fetching the users. What we will get? We will get the entire list of users. Okay. Get all the users. Okay. So the syntax is app.get, and suppose the endpoint is /API/users. Okay. Whenever the user will hit this endpoint, the user will get all the users list. Okay. This is the syntax req.res request comma response res.json. Okay. Users. So res.json users. What it mean? It will sends the entire users array as a JSON response. We will get the JSON response for the users array. Okay. But if you want to, suppose there are 3 users with ID 1, 2 and 3, and what if we want to fetch only the user having ID 2, or if we want to fetch the user having ID 3. Okay. But for this URL, app/users, we will get all the users list. Okay. But we want to fetch the specific user with specific ID. Okay. So what we want, get route to fetch a single user by ID. Okay. So users uses it, what it will use, it uses route parameters. We need to use route parameters. Let's say example /API/users/1 or /2. Okay, to identify the specific user, to identify specific user. So let's mention the route app.get /API/users id, because in the URL we will type as /API/users/2. Okay, so this is the dynamic route parameter /id. Okay, req res. Okay, and now we want to extract this ID. Okay, here ID is 2, we need to extract it. So what we will do, how to extract it, say const user ID is equals to pass int. Okay, it will convert it into the integer. Params dot id. What it will do, it will extract the ID parameters from the URL and converts it into a number. So this is the syntax to fetch the ID from the URL. Okay, so req.params.id, ID will be 2. This is how we extract it. What we have done, we have extract the ID parameter from the URL. Okay, and converted it into a number. Okay, so now we have got the user ID. User ID here it will be 2. Okay, so what we need to do now, we have got the ID, and now we have to find the user with the matching ID in the users array. Okay, how we will do, const user is equals to users dot find users. This is the users data. Users dot find. We will use find method for the array u dot id user id. Okay, so it will go one by one into the array elements. Okay, and whenever the user id will match to the element, it will store in the users variable. Okay, so what we have done, we have find the user with the matching id in the users array. Okay, so if we got the user, if user is there, like we have found the user, then we need to send the details of that user. Okay, so how we send the details, like we have done it before. So before it has sent the entire users array as a JSON response. But we need to send only a single user with the specific ID, and we have got it into the user variable. So res.json user. Okay. So what I have done, if user exists, okay, then it will respond with the user data in JSON format. Okay. Else, otherwise, what it will do, if user is not found, what it will do, it will send status as 404, means user not found. Okay. 404 means page not found. Here it will send status as 404.json. Okay. And in JSON we will mention the message as user not found. User not found. Okay. Sends, what it is doing, sends a 404 response. Okay. If user not found. Okay. So this is about the get route, get methods. So let's check it in the web page and in Postman. So here the route is /API/user/ID. So let's run this in the terminal. Node Express routing. Okay. Okay. So here firstly we need to run the application. How we run the application? We need to start the server. Okay, on a specific port. Okay. So how we start it? App.listen and mention the port number. Okay. So here it will listen at 3000 port. Or we can mention the message also. If application runs at 3000, then it will show us the message like application is running on port. Okay. Because we will get notified it into the console. Server is running on port 3000. Okay. So now let's run it in the terminal. So here we have seen server is running on port 3000. Okay. So now let's go to 3000 port. Say HTTP localhost 3000. Okay. So here we have seen it is showing cannot get /. Okay. So because we need to mention the full endpoint. Endpoint is /API/users. Okay. So now we have got the array list of users. Okay. We can see here. This is the users and all the users we are getting on the web page. Okay. And now what if we want to get the user with the specific ID? Say we want the user 2 only. Okay. So it has given only user with ID 2. Okay. So we have learned here get method. Okay. So it has sent the entire users array as a JSON response. This is all about get method. So now we can check it in the Postman also. We will mention the URL, here get. Okay, we will fetch all the users first. So we can see it is running, and here we have got the all the users. This is the response in Postman. And here if we want ID, user with ID 1, then we will get only Ram because it has ID 1. Okay, so we can rename the request. Let's rename it as get all users. Okay, now we have seen get method. Now we will jump to post method. Okay, so what post method do? It will add a new user. Suppose there are users with ID 1, 2, 3, and we want to add one more user. Okay, say we need to add user with ID 4. Okay, so we will use post route to add a new user. So what this route will do? This route allows the client to send new user data to the server. Okay, so what is the syntax? app.post /API/users. So in this URL we need to send the data. Okay, req, res. Okay, so let's say we want to add post new user. We need to prepare a model for that. Okay, because whenever we do the post request, we need to send the body section. Okay, we need to add the new user data in the body. So what we are doing it here. So const new user is equals to new user will have ID, and if you want to generate IDs automatically, so how we generate? It will be generated as users.length plus 1, because suppose we have 3 users, and if we want to generate a new user, so it will be 3 plus 1 4. ID will be generated as 4. Okay, and name req.body.name. Okay, so the name will be fetched from the request body as req.body.name. Similarly, email req.body request.body.email. Okay, so what it is? It will generate a new ID by adding 1 to the current number of users. By adding 1 to the current number of users. Okay, and what it is doing? It is retrieving the name field. Retrieving the name field from request body, because whenever we will send the post request, it will fetch the name from its body, from the request body. Okay, similarly for email, it will retrieve the email field from the request body. After that, what we will do, users dot push. Users is the array, okay, where all the users with IDs are present. So users dot push new user. Okay. So what it is doing, adds the new user to the users array. Okay. After it will add to the users array. So we need to send the status as res.status 201. Okay. We can also send 200, but we need to send 201 because it will specify created status. Okay. .json new user. Okay. What it is doing, it sends a 201 created status, okay, and the newly added user as the response, and in response we will get the newly added user, and in response we will get newly added user. Okay, so now let's check it in the console. We will run the server again. So server is running on port 3000. Let's check it in the Postman, because we cannot check it in the browser. Why? Because in browser we can fetch all the requests and we can check only the get method. So coming to Postman, the method is post. Okay. Now we need to create a body section, row, select row, and here JSON. Okay. Here we need to send name and email. Suppose the name is Mohit and email is mohit@gmail.com. Okay. So let's run it. It will make the ID automatically 4. Okay, because we have made the logic here. Users.length plus 1. Okay, it will generate a new ID by adding 1 to the current number of users. Okay, let's end it. Okay, so 201 we have got here, because on successful adding the new users, we will get the status as res.status 201.json new user. Here we will get the JSON format of new user. You can see ID is automatically coming as 4, name Mohit, email mohit@gmail.com. Now what we will check? We will check the get request again to check the number of users. Here 4 is added, ID 4 is added, and we have 4 users in the users array. Okay, so this is all about the put method, post method. Now we will see put method. So put route, it updates an existing user. Suppose we want to update the existing user, we will use put route, okay, to update an existing user. Okay, so what it will do, suppose if we want to update the user having ID 3, suppose we want to update his name or email ID. Okay, so for that we will use put. So the syntax is app.put, mention the path API/users. Okay, for that we need ID, user ID. So ID will be dynamic. Okay, so here how we will mention it, /column ID. Okay, comma req request dot response. So we need to fetch the ID first. How we have fetched the ID? Like here. Const user ID is equals to parse int request dot params dot ID. The same way we can fetch it here also. Okay. So we have got the ID. Now we need the user with that ID. So we will find the users like this syntax. Const user search to users dot find. We will find that user with the specific ID mentioned in the route. Okay. So we will get the user here. So if we found the user, if user, okay, if we found the user, then user dot name is equals to req dot body dot name. Okay. If the body contains name, then update the username. Else, if name is not present in the body, then use user dot name. Okay. Then the previous name will be stored only. Otherwise, it will be updated to the name present in the body. Okay. So what it is doing, it is updating the user fields only if the values are provided in the body, in the request body. Okay. Similarly for email also. User dot email req dot body dot email. If email is not provided in the request body, it will use the previous email only. Okay. And suppose if it is not able to find the user with the ID we have sent in the route parameters, then what it will do? Else it will send the status as res dot status 404, and it will send the response at .json user not found, message user not found. Okay. So let's check it in the console and in the Postman. So server is running on port 3000. Let's check it in the Postman. So we are getting here 4 IDs. Suppose we want to update the user having ID say 2. Currently the ID 2 having name as Shyam and email as shyam@gmail.com. Okay. So we want to update the name Shyam as Shyam Shyam, we need to add its full name. Shyam, suppose Garg. Shyam Garg. Okay. And update the email as shyamgarg@gmail.com. Okay. So let's send it. Okay. So we have updated the user having ID 2 with the name as Shyamgarg and email as shyamgarg@gmail.com. Okay, so if we use the get request for id 2, we can see the name is updated to Shyamgarg and email is updated to shyamgarg@gmail.com. Okay, here res.json users. So what it will do, when we update the name and email, it will send the response as name and email. Okay, as a JSON. So now let's come to delete route. So what delete will do? It will delete a route to remove a user by ID. By ID. Okay. So delete route, it will delete a user from the users array based on the provided ID. So the syntax is app.delete, app.delete, mention the path API/users/ID. ID will be dynamic in the path req.res request comma response. Okay, so firstly what we need to do, we need to fetch the user ID, we need to extract it. Okay, then what we need to do, we need to find the index, we need to find the index of the user with the matching ID. Find the index, and based on that index we will delete the user. Firstly we need to find the index of the user with the matching ID. Okay, so how we will do it, we will find the index as const index is equals to users dot, we will use find index method. Okay, find index method of the array to get the index. Okay, this is how we will get the index. Okay, with the matching user. So if index is equals to, if index, if we find the index is not equals to -1. Okay, because if index is -1 means we are not able to find the user. Okay, so now if index is not equals to -1, what we need to do, users dot splice. Okay, so we need to remove the users from the array if index is valid. Okay, so we will use splice method x comma 1. Okay, suppose if we found the index as 2. Okay, so on that index we will remove that user. Okay, what it will do, it will remove the user from array. Okay, and we will send the response as res.json message as user deleted successfully. User deleted successfully. Okay, otherwise if index is not found, what it will do, it will send status as res.status 404 with message as .json. What will be the message? User not found. Message user not found. Okay, so let's check it in the console and we'll check it in the Postman. Suppose, so let's change the method here as delete. Okay, so firstly we'll check all the users present. So the users are first, second and third. Okay. Currently we have 3 users, 1, 2 and 3. Okay. Now what we want to delete the user having ID 2. Okay. We want to delete the user having ID 2. So we got the message as user deleted successfully. Okay. Now we will use get method again. See, we have got the message as user not found. Why? So let's go here. We will go to get method. Okay. So what logic we have applied here? If we do not get the user because we have deleted the user with ID 2. Okay. So it will go here. It will not find the user. So it will go in else part. We will get the status as 404 and message as user not found. We will get the status as 404 and message as user not found. Okay. So let's check all the users present. So only first and third are present with ID 1 and ID 3. So it is all about the delete method. Okay. So we have learned get, post, put and delete. Okay. So these are the CRUD operations. Okay. So this is all about the Express routing. Okay. And guys, if you want this code, you can check out my description and get the code from there, from my GitHub account.